everybody, it's Hexa, and today I'm wearing my Don't Happy Be Worry shirt, which means it's time for another mental health video. I'm sure you guys have already read the title, so today is going to be about how I survived a panic attack. First of all, I'd like to talk a little bit about the difference between an anxiety attack and a panic attack. There's a lot of debate about this. A lot of people think that they're the same thing. Some people think that they're different. In my opinion, they are different. So to me, an anxiety attack is when there's, high adrenaline but not very high, and anxiety attacks for me are more psychological than they are physical. So during an anxiety attack, I'll be having anxious thoughts, I'll be worried, I'll be a little bit frazzled mentally, and I will have some physical symptoms, but not very intense physical symptoms. Whereas a panic attack to me is when the adrenaline is really, really high, there's a lot of adrenaline coursing through my veins, and my whole body is just in panic mode. So that's like when the fight or flight response kicks in and my heart is just racing and pounding out of my chest. I'll feel dizzy, I'll feel nauseous, I'll feel sick, I'll just feel like I'm about to faint. So yeah, that is pretty much a panic attack, is when all systems are on high alert, very high adrenaline, and yeah, your entire body and mind is just in panic mode. So the title of this video is I Survived a Panic Attack. But a panic attack actually can't kill you, so technically you'll survive a panic attack no matter what. You will come out of it and you will get better, and you're not gonna die. But I guess to me, surviving a panic attack in this case is more about how I coped with it, how I dealt with it, and the fact that I feel like I handled it a lot better than I did the last time I had a panic attack. I actually don't get panic attacks very often. That's either because I've been avoiding them for a very long time, or just because I'm not as susceptible to them. I'm more likely to have an anxiety attack than I am to have a panic attack. But over the last few months, I've made a lot of progress. In the last few months, I've been to Hong Kong and Vietnam. I've gone to a few shows at my favorite rock bar. I went to Ladyfest, I went to the zoo, I went to the shopping mall, I went to the fake market. I've done a lot of things in the last few months that have been, typically anxiety-provoking experiences, but for the most part, I did most of these things in the company of others, so I was always with my friends or with my family. I haven't done a lot of these things alone. So I've gotten a lot better at facing my fears when I'm with people I know and trust, but I haven't practiced doing things that are anxiety-provoking by myself as much. So a few days ago, I had this skirt that was broken and I needed to go take it to the shop to get the zipper fixed. And the place for fixing the skirt is pretty close to home. So I went to take the skirt to get fixed, and then on my way back towards my house, I decided, you know what, I'm feeling okay today. Let's just keep going and try to see how far we can get. And I was completely by myself at this point, and I hadn't told anyone where I was going. I just decided to go for a long walk and see how far I get. So in the end, I decided I would try to get to this supermarket that's close to my house. It's about a 20-minute walk away from where I live. And so I went on my walk, and there were every time I would cross a road, I would think, this is kind of far, I've gone far enough, maybe I can turn back. But I just decided that I would try to kind of push through the anxiety. It's almost like my comfort zone is a bubble, and the farther I go, the farther I push the bubble out, So, it's like I have these imaginary barriers in my mind around me that kind of define what is close to home, far from home, and really far from home. And I was pretty much just trying to keep walking and keep stretching that bubble a little bit farther as I went. So yeah, I crossed the street, I kept going, until I was like probably 5 minutes away from the supermarket when all of a sudden I just started panicking. It was kind of this thing where like I realized how far I was from home. I realized how alone I was. I started thinking, what would I do right now if I had a panic attack? I started thinking about the fact that nobody knows where I am right now. And I could just feel the panic coming on, and I was trying to control it. I was trying to stop it. I took a sip of water to try to calm myself down, but I don't know, it just like went from 0 to 100 and I had a panic attack. And usually my first response when I have a panic attack is to somehow get out of the situation. So, I will call someone to calm me down, or I will turn around and go back home, or I will take my medication, or I had the instinct to just sit down and lie on my back until I calmed down, but obviously I was in the middle of the street by myself, wasn't a good idea. So yeah, when the panic attack started, I just immediately started like scrambling in all directions. I was thinking, oh my god, should I call someone? Should I take my medication? Should I take a sip of water? What do I do? Should I turn around? And then I thought, no, feel the fear and do it anyways. Because every time that you have a panic attack and you turn around and you remove yourself from the situation, you're actually reinforcing the panic and the fear in a way. You're telling your brain that yes, you are right, this is a dangerous situation and you were right to make me panic in this situation, which is not true, because I wasn't in any danger and there was no reason why I should have been panicking in that situation. So I realized that if I did turn around and if I did remove myself from the situation, I would actually just reinforce to my brain that that was a dangerous situation and I wouldn't have made as much progress. So instead of doing all the typical things that I do when I have a panic attack and like running from the situation, I instead decided to do some mindful breathing. The idea of mindfulness is to become aware of the present moment and to, kind of just like see what is around you, feel what is around you, and to remove yourself from that state of like thinking about all the possible things that could go wrong, because nothing was actually going wrong in that moment. There wasn't actually any danger. It was just my mind on like hyperdrive, thinking through all of the horrible scenarios that could happen. So pretty much what I tried to do was to breathe mindfully and to only focus on my breath. So I stopped thinking about what I was gonna do to stop the panic attack. I stopped thinking about, all the anxious thoughts that had triggered the panic attack, and I just listened to my own breath. And within I think I took 10 deep mindful breaths and I had calmed down, and I just kept going. Obviously still had some adrenaline in my system and I was still shaky, like my knees were weak and my arms were kind of like shaking a little bit, but I had gotten through the worst of it and the panic had started to subside after I did the mindful breathing. And I got to the supermarket, I got to where I had intended to get to, and then I took a taxi by myself again and went home. So yeah, that's how I survived a panic attack. And I'm really proud of myself because I think I handled it really, really well. I'm really proud of myself for not turning back and going home. And, it did kind of shake me up a little bit. Like it did affect me a little bit and kind of raise my anxiety about doing things by myself. But on the other hand, it also reinforced the idea that if I do have a panic attack, it's not the end of the world and I'm going to be able to handle it and I will be able to find a way through it and a way to calm myself down. So yeah, for anyone out there who suffers from panic attacks frequently, the best advice I can give you is to realize that the panic is not going to last forever. It's not going to kill you. Panic attacks really do feel like you're dying because your heart starts beating so fast and so hard, you really think that you're having like a heart attack. And you know, different people get different symptoms. Some people even faint when they have a panic attack, but you know, you can throw up, or you can feel nauseous, you can get an upset stomach, your breathing gets crazy, like you start hyperventilating, you can start crying. A lot of things can happen, and different people have different manifestations of panic attacks. But the bottom line is that no matter how horrible and deathly afraid you are feeling in that moment, it's not going to kill you. A panic attack is technically actually supposed to be your brain's way of protecting you, which makes no sense, because it's definitely not helping when you get panic attacks over things that shouldn't trigger that. But yeah, they are a survival mechanism, and they're not going to kill you. So yeah, if you do have panic attacks frequently, what I can tell you is that it's really, really important to try to push yourself through them rather than taking a step back, because every time that you push through a panic attack and get to the other side rather than retreating backwards, you're actually pushing your comfort zone out a little bit, and you're kind of like proving to yourself, to your brain, your subconscious mind, that the situation that triggered the panic attack was not actually dangerous. Whereas if you shy away from it, if you retreat from it, you're just reinforcing the panic, the fear that your brain has about that situation. And again, mindful breathing is definitely a really, really helpful tool. There's all kinds of breathing exercises that you can do to help you during a panic attack. For me, all I did was just to breathe deep and to focus only on my breath and nothing else. And yeah, it actually helped me calm down, and I felt a lot better because my brain stopped kind of like going off on all these tangents in all these directions where like something horrible was about to happen. Anyways, that was about it for this video. There wasn't really a huge point to it other than that I just wanted to tell you guys a little story about how I went out to push myself to stretch out my comfort zone, and I had a panic attack. And I coped with it, I survived it, and I pushed forward rather than retreating backward. And it really helped me. Having another panic attack is not something that I look forward to or will ever look forward to, but I know that avoiding having a panic attack is not going to help you. Because the more you avoid it, the more you're reinforcing that you should be afraid when you shouldn't. So it's kind of just one of those things where you have to be willing to go through a lot of panic attacks and a lot of discomfort and a lot of fear until you've faced your fears enough times that your brain slowly starts to realize that you're not in any danger. And that's essentially the whole point of exposure therapy, is to slowly retrain your brain on how it should be responding in specific situations that can be triggering. So that was it for this video. I hope you guys liked it, and I hope you learned something or that it helped you in some way. If you have any friends or family or know somebody who is struggling with an anxiety disorder or with panic disorder, please go ahead and share this video with them, and maybe it will help them out in some way. If you like this video, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, which are all linked down below. And you can donate to my Patreon to support me and my channel. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!